I have been going to conventions since as long as I can remember, if I'm completely honest.
Because, like, sometimes you can't cover an entire genre in half an hour.
Pausing, and we will probably resume it sometime this week.
It's kind of like the special features on a DVD.
Field Guide to Monsters?
One of the handbooks over there.
Huh.
This is Argo City Extra, a special edition of the Argo City podcast with Maddie and Matthew. So, it turns out we had way more to talk about with Lilo and Stitch than we could fit into a single episode. That's probably not a big surprise to anyone, considering this is one of my top 5 all-time favorite films. It was also a big enough event that the whole family wanted to go. So we were all there, we all saw it, and we all had our opinions on it. Maddie and I especially. We did make you wait a good week before putting out part 1, and I didn't want to make you wait another full week before finishing up this conversation. So, here it is, this week's Argo City Extra, with Maddie and me finishing up our talk about Lilo and Stitch, 2025 live-action remake.
So it's one of those things that the live-action movie had a hard time on. They didn't get the background shenanigans.
No, the live-action movie is really, it's a bunch of punchlines without the joke, without the setup.
Yeah.
And that's a shame, because the things that the live-action movie does well, they do really well. So, like, we don't get the montage of Lilo trying to train Stitch to be a better person. Instead, we get different shenanigans.
Mm-hmm.
Like, water fight, or soda fight.
We get the whole thing with her trying to drag him into the water over and over and over again.
Yeah, you know what? That's not in the animated, and I love it.
No, and I love that addition.
I love the idea of she's sneaking into these vacation resorts.
Yeah, and it's just like hiding in the hot tub or like messing with like the employees. Like,
and the speaker comes over the speaker, loudspeaker. Lilo, we see you. You're not supposed to be here.
And they know her by name.
I want more of this. I want more. She's going to the pet shelter on a regular basis.
Feeding them candy. And she has to, like, put them on the table when she first goes to visit Stitch. It's hilarious.
Surrender the candy, surrender the... Yeah, it's... I love every bit of that. All of this new shtick. I want more of the new shtick. The wedding cake. Oh my gosh. He, the first thing he finds is somebody getting married. And proceeds to completely wreck it.
Just because he wants cake.
Which he gets, because at the end of it, we see him on a golf cart with 2 hands, both full of cake pieces. This is great stuff.
Yeah.
This is really good. There's also a new character.
Yes, that's right. We have the new grandmother.
Yeah, that's like David's grandmother.
Yeah.
I love her.
She's so great.
This is such a great addition.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me, like, what did you see with her? What do you like? What did you watch with her? What did you see with her?
She's just kind of like our residential, like, crazy animated grandma. Every animated movie should have a crazy grandma. I believe that full-heartedly. But, like, she's great. She is, like, trying to think of, like, more specific moments with her.
She's the one who gives Stitch to Lilo.
Yeah, she goes and helps them. She, like, rolls up in her, like, 4-wheeler and helps them track down Stitch in the, like, Lilo in the forest. And she is just, like, she's like, okay, we'll do that. When one of them tosses her a pair of, like, what are those things? Like, the car, like, hijack things? Like,
to jumpstart it.
Jumpstart it, yeah.
Bumper cables.
She's like, okay, we'll do that then. And she's just great. She's fun. I love her. She's amazing.
This is a perfect addition. And this is exactly the sort of thing I want to see more of. I want to see the stuff that I haven't seen before. I want to see new shtick. I want to see new... And I'm glad that we got that, because a lot of our legacy characters, like David's nothing in that live action movie.
He plays almost no role.
He's a walking prop once, and he shows up once or twice.
Yeah.
You even mentioned to me, like, in the animated movie, just how big a part of it.
Yeah, he plays so much more. Because the thing that originally struck me was, in the animated movie, there's a scene where he like talks with Lilo and Stitch at their table, because he's performing at the bar at the bar at the luau, and we didn't get that in the animated. In fact, he's nowhere to be seen.
He shows up for a second and he's gone.
Yeah, he doesn't have a reason to be there.
I did like that he has the little Maui hook on his necklace.
Yeah, I noticed that like right off the bat,
and he doesn't have it at the luau. He has it later on the surfboard, so it's there.
Yeah,
there's a lot of stuff like that too that the live action movie gets meticulously copies.
Yeah,
there's stuff like Stitch's expression on the surfboard, or I pointed this out to you too. Like at the very beginning. Stitch is being judged. The aliens on the platform.
They were dead on in the animated or in the live action, though.
Yeah, not just like the robot next to the Grand Councilwoman
that like falls over and barfs bolts.
Bolton. The fact that they kept that though.
Yeah,
that's an animated gag. They kept that in the live action. They did it again.
Yeah, that's great. We get our little psychopathic lady who wants to blow up Earth.
Yes, the one in the ship. We've got one little pink alien. They gave her bows to make her cuter. They actually they
they pushed it more.
I love all that kind of stuff. You pointed out Lilo's room.
They had her at least like the platform that like leads to her window. Like they have it almost dead on.
You could feel yourself in that room.
Yeah, and with us being so close to the screen, we were in that room.
We kind of were. The screen encompassed our entire field of vision. They missed a couple things though in that scene though that some of it's switched. Like Lilo shows him, okay, here's your bed, here's your doll, and here's your bottle.
I thought it was coffee. That's a terrible idea.
Lilo does give him her doll in the movie. It was like, well, that was my best friend before you.
Yeah, like, oh my God.
We don't get the coffee as much as we get the lava lamp
that he is drinking from? Question mark?
Again, I love this gag because it's new, it's fresh. I realize it's replacing the coffee.
He's eating the crayons.
Oh, eating the crayons of the luau. I love that too because like you can see the marks of the crayons on his teeth.
His teeth are rainbow by the end of that scene.
So we're not doing the regurgitating the cake like we did in the animated. We just have him constantly eating crayons and looking sassy. This is great stuff. These are the reasons to watch this live action movie. These are the reasons to go here.
It's just for Stitch and only for Stitch.
It really is. And there's one other thing though too with Nani, you were talking about the social services stuff. When they finally show up. Because I feel like in the live action movie, it's getting worse and worse, and they know it's coming down the track. It's inevitable. In the animated movie, I feel like Nani is in denial.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen. Look, everything will be okay. Everything is going to work out. It drives me mad when people try and pull that on me. Look, I'm a religious person. I trust in God, but at the same time, please don't tell me that it's just going to work out. Please don't tell me that the river is going to part, the sea is going to part.
I hate it when people tell me that.
Because, look, the sea's not going to part until I start walking into it. All right, I got to do my part. And Nani is completely in denial. She blows off job hunting to go surfing with David in the animated movie. And even that morning when they come to take Lilo, I don't think she really believes it's going to happen. Part of her does, but part of her doesn't. And see, I like this version of Nani better. I do.
Yeah.
And you disagreed with me on that. You like the gritty, social workers
I
coming
don't
to
know.
take her.
I liked. It almost felt like Nani had more personality here. She is actively. We get to see more of her. She's actively stressing out. She's actively looking for stuff. We get to see like her like job searching and trying to find a way around. We see her arguing with the people as she's trying to get jobs. We see her blowing off people as she's trying to figure out what to do. She is constantly doing things in the background, and she is constantly acting there. And it just, I feel like she gets more characterization because in the animated movie, she's a prop. She's there, well, not really a prop, but she's there to be there for Lilo. She's there to kind of take care of Lilo, and she helps her towards like the end of the movie, and that's like it.
Man,
like.
That is an interesting perspective too, because like I said, this is actually kind of Nani's movie.
Yeah.
It's almost like I mentioned to you when we were sitting in the seats. The last time that I was this close to the screen in an event screening was at Ender's Game.
Yeah.
And I'd recently read Ender's Game, and then back to back I'd read Ender's Shadow. They're both the same story, but they're told from two different perspectives.
Yeah.
One's told from Ender's perspective. One's told from the perspective of another character. I wonder if we could approach this that way. The thing that I really wish they'd done, though, here, there's a line that Nani has in the animated one. I am the only one who understands her. You take that away, she's not going to make it. We get that in the animated one.
Yeah.
We don't get that in the live action.
It's letting her frustrations coming through.
But then again, Lilo's not so much of a freak in the live action.
Yeah.
Whereas in the animated
She
one,
is kind of cuckoo.
She's an adorable little psycho. So I get why they dropped it, but I feel like that would have given her just that, it would have pushed her just over the edge there.
Yeah.
I will spend a lot of time talking about Lilo here.
Mm-hmm.
And it's maybe my biggest regret on this movie. Because Lilo's just a kid here in the movie. And Lilo is something else in the animated movie.
Mm-hmm.
But that's kind of important because Stitch needs somebody who matches his crazy. That's your phrase.
Yeah.
Lilo needs somebody who will match her crazy. And I don't feel like I get that here in the live action.
Yeah, if anything, she's constantly trying to pull Stitch away, or even, like, being exactly bad with him, or being exactly...
They're getting into
like,
trouble together, you're right.
Yeah, but a lot of the times it's just Lilo trying to pull him away, trying to control Stitch. And it's more so... I would say it's more so, like, an alliance than, like... Well, maybe not even an alliance. It's more so like an alliance than, like... What would be, like, one above that before friendship? Like... companions, I suppose.
Yeah, comrades.
Yeah, they're not
partners.
They're not partners. They are like allies, and that's it. We don't really get anything beyond that. We don't really get any of those bonding moments with Stitch and Lilo, in my opinion. We don't get as much. And that's what bothers me, because you don't feel the connection between the two of them.
No,
And that's mostly due to them cutting out so many of the hijinks that happen in the animated movie.
Yeah, because that live action movie is speed running this story.
Yeah.
So they're speed running it. They're watering it down to make it safe. Because, man, Disney needs a hit right now.
Yeah.
And they're not taking the chances that this... The original movie. Are you familiar with the Disney ages?
Yes, somewhat.
So, I mean, we have, like, the Golden Age.
Yeah, like the Golden, the Silver, the Bronze, the Wilderness era, and...
Then we have the Renaissance.
Yeah, Renaissance.
And then we have the second Wilderness era.
Yeah.
That's when Stitch comes in. Stitch is during the second Wilderness era.
Okay.
After stuff like Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast. And Disney doesn't know what to do anymore, so they were taking chances.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't feel like this takes us... This is not edgy. Like, Stitch was edgy. Stitch was a little more dangerous than you think a Disney movie should be.
Yeah.
This live action one isn't that.
So, if you had to rate this movie on a scale from like 1 to 10, but just based on like everything we've talked about, because this is your movie. This is your like.
Yeah, this is my fandom.
This is you. So if you had to rate it, not based on like likeness or how close it is, just on general, like, what would you rate it?
Well, see, this is where it's hard, because if I'm just rating it on its own merits in a vacuum, I have never seen the original. I haven't read any of the mangas. I haven't read the comics. I haven't watched the TV series. I haven't watched the Japanese TV series or the Chinese one. If I'm doing that, see, in a vacuum, this is not a bad movie. This is probably a 7 or 8 out of 10.
Okay.
The problem is I have watched all of it. The problem is we sat down and we watched the original tonight.
So what would you rate it then?
At that point, it's like, I don't know, because in a world where that original exists, why do I go and watch this live action one? Maybe, and that's kind of what we're exploring, maybe because it's somebody else's perspective. Maybe because it's Nani's story.
Yeah.
That's where I'm struggling with it. It's where I'm really having a problem with it. Because I kept pointing out to you, look how smart that animated one is. Look how quick the wordplay is.
It's not so forced as it is in the live action.
Look at how many subplots there are, and they're all swirling around. How many things are getting resolved that are stupid stuff? You were watching it, they go home for the first time, and you're like, oh, look, there's a Volkswagen Beetle in there. There's a bug there.
Oh, God.
Like, you realize that's setting something up.
And I
Really?
I look away and I'm like trying to think of what it is, but my tired brain can't figure anything out. Ugh.
Well, it's been we haven't been to the movies as much in a couple of years.
No, we have not.
This year we're hitting them again. It doesn't fare as well in comparison. And that's where I'm coming at, because if this is just for a new generation who's never seen any of it, who've never seen any of the movies or any of the TV series, then this might be a good introduction.
Yeah, my manager is taking her like young grandchildren to go see it, so
Yeah.
like I think it'd be good for them. I kind of told her the same thing I was telling you. Lilo feels very much pointless in this movie, but aside from that, it's a good movie.
But the thing is, it almost feels like the movie feels like it expects you to have seen the originals.
Yeah.
That's why they're throwing all these homages in. And Lilo needs to be more than pointless. Lilo is so important.
Yeah.
I can't even express how important. My buddy Mike Saban and I, before he passed, we would talk about this movie. We would talk just about how much we loved Lilo, because Lilo is what we relate to. Lilo is who we want. And I mean, you talk about, yeah, this is my movie. Yeah, this really is my movie. There's always stitch pins on anything you see.
Anything.
Lydia drew me pictures of Stitch for birthdays.
It was
I wrote a book about Stitch. In fact, I wrote an entire Bible study based on Stitch. Because it's perfect. Stitch's original sin. Stitch is inherently bad. He's a monster. He's evil.
I don't like these frogs on the cover.
Well, that's because you're so used to seeing the ducks.
Well,
And the cover that I used, the way I did it, I like the frogs better. I like the shots of him pointing the guns in the frog's face, and then at the end, when you see he's changed, that's the whole thing. I keep coming back to it. Stitch is about redemption. Stitch is about him changing, and you see him changing. You see him expressive and changing all through this without him uttering a word. You realize he doesn't like speaking English again for the first hour.
Yeah, he doesn't really. He only learns a couple words. I am scared of the day he's fluent.
But he doesn't use them until I'm lost.
Yeah.
Stitch starts off as evil. He comes to Earth and Lilo redeems him and changes him into good through just love and sacrifice. Mm-hmm. Sacrificing her room, her doll, her house,
Her coffee.
and almost her photograph.
Yeah.
See, that's the live action. The live action, only you get a glimpse of it. They're all like doing a pyramid handstand or something. It feels more important in the animated.
Yeah.
Everything feels more important in the animated.
Mm-hmm.
The animated shouldn't be deeper. It shouldn't be.
No, it really shouldn't.
So at the end of the day, what do you think? As far as like, okay, go or don't go. We gonna go see this at Amherst again? Maybe see it in a proper aspect ratio. Do you think people should go to this? You think people should just go out and buy the old DVD? I mean, like, what do we do with this?
I don't know. I don't know what to do with this movie. It's like, if you like want to see it, like, go for it, but at the end of the day,
we were all excited for it.
Yeah, I mean, like, if you're really passionate about Stitch as a character or that kind of fandom, go see it to add it to your mental collection. But honestly, I don't think it's worth more seeing than the original. Mm-hmm. I think at the end of the day, the original is always going to top it. And I mean, I don't really care what anybody says, but like you were saying earlier, there was no reason for this movie.
Yeah.
Like I said, add it if you want the extra hijinks to add to your mental brain. But aside from that, unless you're just adding it to a collection, I wouldn't bother, to be honest.
And I mean, let's be honest, it's probably going to get added to my collection at some point or another.
Yeah.
Maybe if I'm in the mood for something different, because I like all these actors.
Yeah.
I like the performances. I like the cinematography. I like the direction. It's the people who suggested we do this in the first place, and the people who greenlit this, and the people who decided, yeah, this is a good idea. Those are the people that I want to see.
Oh, no.
See, like, hung from their pinky toes and suspended above a field of cut
You
grass
are ridiculous.
and poison ivy in the middle of allergy season.
You're a horrible person. I would hate to see you.
I am not as horrible a person as the person who greenlit this.
I would hate to see you as, like, a game creator in Saw. You would be terrible.
Because, yeah, it's like, I don't begrudge its existence, but I'd be happier if it didn't exist.
Yeah, I think we both kind of agree there.
But at the same time, look, I hope this does well, because I'd like the next chapter. I am far more excited for the next chapter of this and the sequels than I am for this original one. And quite frankly, Disney did understand the assignment here. They gave us something that was entertaining, and they tried to honor the legacy.
Yeah, keyword there being they tried. And that's what's important. At least they did try.
It's better than 90% of what I've seen come out of Disney in the last
couple
10
years.
Yeah. Okay, so I think you've got our thoughts and our final verdict on Lilo and Stitch. If you're interested in seeing the review, head over to argocitycomics.wordpress.com and scroll back to May 21st, and it's right there. You'll get my first impressions, which were spoiler free, and add that to our spoiled episode here. And yeah, go take a look at it, especially if you've got a nice discount theater out there like we have with Amherst Cinema. But do yourself a favor then and jump up on Disney Plus or grab your DVD out and watch that.
Watch the original.
Because it's going to be so much of a richer experience.
Yeah.
All right, that is it for us this week. So we will see you next week with something perhaps a little a little more positive.
Bye.